Part 1. The storm came without warning, the way the best ones did. One moment the sea was ordinary, gray-green, slightly restless, the kind of afternoon that made everyone on deck vaguely irritable without knowing why. The next, the sky had made a decision. Rain came down like it had a grievance. The wind changed direction twice in 30 seconds. Nami was screaming navigational instructions that the wind kept stealing before they arrived anywhere useful. Everyone ran. Luffy ran the wrong direction 3 times before Usopp physically redirected him. Chopper blew off the deck and had to be caught by Frankie. Zoro, somehow, slept through the first 4 minutes and woke up already braced against the mast looking unsurprised, which was its own kind of impressive. Robin walked calmly through all of it. She'd been on her way to the library when the storm hit, and she adjusted her route to the kitchen without particular urgency. Rain didn't concern her the way it concerned people who hadn't spent years in HOURSA, and pushed open the door just as a wave hit the port side hard enough to throw the entire ship sideways. The door slammed behind her. The lock engaged with a sound like finality. In the kitchen, Sanji turned around from the stove with a dish towel over his shoulder and an expression of polite surprise that resolved, after a beat, into something warmer. "Robin Chuan," he said. "Perfect timing." She looked at the door. Tried the handle. The mechanism had jammed, salt water and an old lock and the particular angle of impact had combined into something she wasn't going to fix without tools. She looked at the storm through the porthole window. At the kitchen around her, warm, fragrant, organized with the particular obsessive precision of a man who cared deeply about where things were. "It appears," she said, "that we're going to be here for a while." Sanji looked at the door. Back at her. And smiled the way he smiled when a situation had resolved in his favor without requiring any effort on his part. "Sit down," he said. "I'll make tea." Part 2. The cook. She watched him work. This was, she had long decided, one of the quiet pleasures of knowing Sanji. Watching him in a kitchen was watching someone be entirely themselves. No performance, no management of impression. Just a person doing the thing they were made to do, in the place they were made to do it. He moved without wasted motion. Every reach was precise, every adjustment immediate. He had 3 things on the stove and was doing 2 things at the counter, and his attention was distributed across all of it in the way of someone who had long since stopped thinking about how and just did. "You don't have to cook," she said. "The situation doesn't require it." "The situation always requires it," he said, without turning around. "We're stuck. It's raining. These are conditions that call for something warm." He considered the spice rack briefly. Made a decision. "Besides, I was going to make dinner anyway. Now I have better company for the prep." "Better than?" "Myself." He glanced back at her. "I usually talk to the food. It's a fine conversation, but the food rarely contributes." She smiled. Set down her book. She'd held onto it out of habit, the reflex of a woman who always had an exit available, and set it on the table. "Then I'll contribute," she said. The tea arrived first. He set it in front of her with the kind of care that didn't announce itself, just appeared, the cup placed at exactly the right angle, a small dish of something sweet beside it that she hadn't asked for. "What's in the pot?" she asked. "Cioppino. Or it will be, in about an hour. I found good fish this morning at the last port and I've been thinking about it since." He returned to the stove. "The thinking about it is half the work, I find. By the time you get to the actual cooking, you already know what it wants. You think about what the food wants. Doesn't everyone? I don't think Luffy thinks about what the food wants." He laughed, a real one, not the performed delight he sometimes used with the crew. Short and genuine. "Luffy thinks about what he wants. That's not cooking, that's just eating with extra steps." She wrapped her hands around the cup. Outside, the storm made its arguments against the hull, low, sustained, the sound of a lot of water insisting. Inside, the kitchen was warm and smelled like something being slowly perfected. "You're the only one who doesn't mind them," he said, after a while. She looked up. "The others," he moved a pan, adjusted a flame. "They eat. They enjoy it, mostly. Luffy loves it in the way he loves everything, which is to say without reflection." He paused. "But you actually," he seemed to consider how to finish that. "You pay attention. The food is worth paying attention to. Some people don't think so. Some people," she said, "don't pay attention to most things." He glanced back at her. There was something in his expression she recognized, the look of a person encountering an unexpected answer in an expected place. "No," he said. "I suppose they don't." Part 3. What gets said in kitchens? The storm continued its negotiations with the sea, and Sanji cooked, and Robin sat with her tea going slowly cold while she watched him and thought about nothing in particular, which was rare enough to be noticeable. She was usually thinking about something. It was an occupational habit. 20 years of surviving on information meant her mind was rarely quiet, rarely without a thread being followed or a pattern being mapped. She read people the way she read texts. Continuously, automatically, filing everything away in case it became relevant. Sanji, she had long since mapped. The performance was the easy part, the flamboyance, the devotion to women, the operatic emotion that he wore like a second coat. Under it, someone who had been taught, very young, that love was transactional. That you earned your place by being useful. That the best way to keep people close was to give them what they wanted before they had to ask. She recognized it. She'd built different defenses from the same wound, but the wound was familiar. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "You can ask me anything." He said it lightly. He said most things lightly. "The cooking," she said. "Is it, do you do it for them? The crew? Or for yourself?" He was quiet for a moment. Kept working. She waited, she was good at waiting. "Both," he said finally. "At the same time. I don't think I could separate it." He added something to the pot, watched it, added something else. "When I was young, when I was learning, it was just for myself. Because I was hungry and because it was the one thing I could control." A pause. Somewhere along the way it became about other people. And then it became about both, and I stopped being able to tell the difference. "That doesn't sound like a problem." "No," he said. "I don't think it is." He glanced back. "Why?" "I'm curious about when things shift," she said. "When they start meaning something different from what they meant at the beginning." He set down the spoon. Turned to face her, leaning back against the counter in the way he did when he decided to take something seriously. "That sounds like a question about something else," he said. "Most questions are." He smiled, slow, a little careful. "What did it start as? For you?" "Reading. Archaeology. All of it." She considered how honest to be. Decided, in the way she sometimes decided in kitchens and small spaces and the quiet ends of watches. Honest enough. "Survival," she said. "I learned to read things because information was currency and I had nothing else to spend. I learned languages because each one was a door and I needed more doors than I had." She looked at her hands around the cup. "Somewhere it became something I loved. Not because it was useful. Just because the world was enormous and everything in it had a name, and I wanted to know as many names as possible." He was looking at her with an expression she didn't often see directed at her, not the performed adoration, not the careful friendliness. Something more attentive. More still. "That's not a small thing," he said. "No," she agreed. "It isn't." He went back to the stove, and the silence between them was the comfortable kind, the kind that didn't require filling. She picked up her book, read 3 pages, found herself reading the same paragraph twice. Set it down again. Sanji, she said. Do you ever feel like, she looked for the shape of what she meant? Like the version of yourself that people see is accurate but incomplete. Like there's a translation missing somewhere. He didn't answer immediately. Stirred. Tasted. Added salt. Every day, he said quietly. I put the rest of it somewhere the noise can't get to it. He tapped his chest, once, lightly. In here. In the cooking. In the parts of the night when no one needs anything. That's what this is, she said. Slowly. Understanding it as she said it. The kitchen. Late at night, after everyone's eaten. This is where you're, yeah, he said. Before she finished. Because she'd said enough. They were quiet for a moment. You're the first person who's ever said that to me, he said. Or, said it back to me, I suppose. Since I'd never have said it first. You might have, she said. Eventually. He made a sound that wasn't quite agreement. Maybe. If the storm was long enough. She looked at the porthole. Rain, still. Sea, still agitated. The lock on the door still firmly jammed. Lucky us, she said. Part 4. Close quarters. The cioppino was ready 40 minutes later. He served it with bread that had no right to exist on a ship, thick, soft, the kind that required an oven running for an hour and attention she could not account for. She accepted the bowl and didn't ask how he'd managed it. Some things were worth simply receiving. It was extraordinary. It was always extraordinary. But tonight, having watched it made from the beginning, having been in the room for all of it, it tasted like something more. It's different, she said. Knowing the whole of it. He sat across from her. The kitchen was small enough that the table barely fit 2 people with any comfort, and they were close in the way proximity enforced on ships, not intimate by design, but real in the way that all closeness on small vessels was real. You couldn't pretend distance that didn't exist. That's why I like having someone in the kitchen, he said. Most people want the end result. They don't want to watch it become itself. He broke off a piece of bread. You watched it become itself. I find that more interesting than the arrival. The process. The process reveals what the result is trying to be. The result is just the place it stopped. He looked at her over the table, and she could see him thinking about that, turning it over, testing it against things he already knew. I'm going to be thinking about that for a week, he said. Good, she said. It'll give you something to talk to the food about. He laughed, the real one again, the short and genuine one, and something loosened in the room. Not that it had been tense. Just, sealed. And now less so. Outside, the storm had begun to change quality. The violence of it was settling into something more sustained, less dramatic. The ship still moved, but with purpose now rather than argument. Can I ask you something? He said. She set down the bread. Yes. The others, he paused, choosing. Zoro, Luffy, Nami. They all came to you, eventually. In different ways. But you kept, he made a gesture that was hard to define. Distance. Even when you weren't. Like there was always glass. She was quiet for a moment. There was, she said. Is there now? She looked at him. At the small kitchen, the lamp swaying slightly with the motion of the ship. The 2 bowls between them. The storm outside doing its slow work. Less, she said honestly. What changed? She thought about it properly. I stopped treating belonging like a loan, she said. Like something I was holding temporarily until it was reclaimed. A pause. It took a long time. It's not fully gone. She looked at her bowl. But I'm practicing. He was looking at her with that still expression again, the one without performance. I do the same thing, he said. Different mechanism. Same root. He turned the spoon in his hand. Make myself so useful that the question of whether I'm wanted never has to be answered. It's a very effective strategy, she said. Until it isn't. Until it isn't, she agreed. They looked at each other across a very small table, in a locked kitchen, on a ship in a storm, with two bowls of something extraordinary between them and the particular quality of attention that only came from having said true things out loud to someone who'd said true things back. Part 5. The lock. He cleared the bowls without asking. She stood to help and he waved her off, not dismissively, but in the way of someone who needed to do it, for whom the act of clearing and cleaning was part of the same thing as cooking. She understood this now. She let him. She stood by the porthole and watched the storm. It had genuinely softened, the rain still fell but without conviction, the way arguments ended when both sides had mostly made their points. The sea moved in long, slow swells. Sanji, she said. I want to tell you something. He turned off the water. Dried his hands. Turned around with the dish towel and a question he wasn't asking yet. I've spent a very long time being interesting to people, she said. I have knowledge they want. I have history that makes me, she paused. Significant. In a particular way. Most of the time, when someone is paying attention to me, I can locate the reason. The thing they're reaching for. He waited. I can't locate it with you, she said. You pay attention to me in a way that doesn't seem to want anything from me. She looked at him steadily. I find that I'm not sure what to do with it. He was quiet for a moment. I'm not reaching for anything, he said. I just, like you. The actual you. Not the version of you that's useful or significant or, he set the towel down. You laugh at things. Not politely. Actually. And when you're reading something that matters to you, your whole face changes, and you don't notice. He paused. I notice. Something in her chest did something quiet and specific. That's, she found she didn't have the end of the sentence immediately, which was unusual. He crossed the kitchen. Not quickly, there was nothing urgent in his movement, nothing that was asking for more than was being offered. He stopped close enough to make the proximity a choice rather than an accident. You don't have to do anything with it, he said, quietly. It's just true. I wanted you to know it was true. She looked at him for a long moment. He had kind eyes. She had noted this before, filed it under observation. Under the dramatics and the loudness and the very deliberate persona, kind eyes. The kind that had seen hard things and decided, despite that, to remain open. She reached up and touched his jaw. Lightly. The way she touched things she was deciding about. He went very still. Not afraid. Just, attentive. Like he was listening to something. She kissed him. It was soft. An inquiry more than a declaration. His hand came to her waist, careful, asking, and she answered by staying, and the inquiry resolved into something more certain. He kissed her back the way he did things he cared about. Completely. Without division of attention. When she pulled back, his hand was still at her waist, and his expression was the one she'd been seeing all evening, the one without performance. Just him, looking at her, in a small kitchen on a ship in a softening storm. Robin Chuan, he said softly. And then, less theatrical, just her name. Robin. Sanji, she said. He almost smiled. She felt the warmth of it. The lock, she said, after a moment. He blinked. Looked at the door. Back at her. I could fix it, he said carefully. I have tools in the second drawer. Yes, she said. But the storm hasn't fully passed. She looked at the porthole. Rain, still. Sea, still moving. Nothing that required them specifically anywhere else. No, she agreed. It hasn't. He left the tools in the second drawer. He made tea again, different leaves this time, something darker and warmer, and she sat with her book and actually read it, and he finished the cleaning, and they occupied the small kitchen in the companionable silence of two people who had said the things they'd been carrying and found the weight of the room had not increased. Lighter, actually. Considerably lighter. Epilogue. The lock fixed itself, in the end. The ship settled, the mechanism cooled, and in the early evening the door swung open when she tried it and the rest of the ship came back in, Noise and Luffy asking about dinner and Nami doing something with charts and Chopper small and damp and relieved. Sanji became Sanji again, loud, devoted, sweeping past Nami with a towel and exclaiming about her poor wet hair, talking over Luffy's food demands with cheerful exasperation. The performance, back in place. Effective as ever. But when Robin crossed the kitchen to return her cup, he was turned toward the stove, and he said, without turning around, without raising his voice above the noise of the crew. Same time tomorrow, Robin-chan. She set the cup down. I'll bring a better book, she said. She felt him smile before she saw it. She went to the library, sat in her chair, opened to a page she'd read 100 times and couldn't see at all, and thought about the particular quality of being noticed by someone who wanted nothing from what they noticed. It was, she decided, worth practicing. Outside, the last of the storm moved east toward the horizon, taking its noise with it, leaving the sea clean and the evening open and the ship sailing on into a night that had no particular agenda. Which was, all things considered, exactly enough.
Subscribe right now and join our Telegram community. Get the latest anime news, new theories, leaks, and the hottest discussions before anyone else. Link in the description.